Advanced Math, Lesson 4, Construction. Alright, so starting with construction, we need two tools. We need our compass, and we need our straight edge. When it comes to getting a compass, I definitely recommend going to someplace like Office Depot or Staples and getting a fixed compass that has a wheel like this one. So that way, once I set it, nothing is going to change the distance between the legs, whereas if you get the cheap $1, $2 one from Walmart, nothing holds the legs in place. So as you start making circles, it's hard to reconstruct the same distance. And then, for a straight edge, I recommend a really short 4 to 6 inch ruler. They're cheaper and they're easier to use and they're less likely to break in your backpack. Alright, so let's get started. Construction. We're going to begin with copying an angle. So we have to take this given angle and then make an exact replica over here on the right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to create the initial side of the angle. Go ahead and draw that initial side right there. From there, I'm then going to take my compass, I'm going to put the sharp end on the point of the angle. Now the thing to remember about your compass is the sharp end likes points, and the pencil end likes to draw lines or create points. So sharp end starts on points, pencil end creates points. So we'll set it to a distance, put the sharp end on the vertex of the angle, and then we will draw an arc that cuts through both ends of the angle, thereby making 2 points. We're then going to keep our compass set at the exact same distance and draw the exact same arc on this line that we've constructed. Now, once I've got those 2 arcs, then I'm going to take my compass, I'm going to measure the distance between the 2 points on the original angle. Right? So I set my compass to meet that distance. Once I have that distance, I'm going to put the sharp end on the point that was created by the line that intersected the initial line of my angle. So I put my sharp end on that point, and I take the pencil end and I create another point. Now with this new point, I'm now going to take my straight edge, going to line up the cross and the vertex of the angle, and I have now reconstructed the angle. I can test this with a compass to see how accurately I constructed this angle. So if I put my a protractor, I can test it with a protractor. This protractor is saying this angle is about 43, 44 degrees. We'll say 43.5. If I go to this one, we have an angle of 43 degrees. So within 0.5 degrees, I have accurately reconstructed this angle. Next, let's go to bisecting. We need to know how to bisect a line and bisect an angle. Again, sharp end likes points, so I'll start by taking the sharp end and putting it at point A. I'm then going to extend my compass and make sure it goes past the halfway point of the line. I will make an arc above and an arc below. Then I keep my compass at the same distance. I do the same thing on the right side. Arc above, arc below. That has given me 2 points. I then take the straight edge, I line up the 2 points, and I have just created a perpendicular bisector, meaning that these angles are all 90 degrees. Now let's talk about bisecting an angle. Now when it comes to bisecting an angle, again, sharp point likes points, and we're going to use the pencil end to cut both sides of our angle. Right. Now once I've made both those points, I'm then going to put the sharp end on one of these points. I'm going to extend my compass just a little bit to where I know that it crosses through the center of the angle. I'm going to draw one arc here. I'll take the exact same distance, put it on the other point that I created with my first line, put another arc there. So what I've done is I've found the distance is equal distances away from these 2 points that I created. Now I have a point that will line up with the vertex to create an angle bisector. So I'm going to draw a line from the vertex through that X, and I have now bisected the angle. Let's see here. Next, we have to learn how to construct perpendicular lines at a specific point inside of a line or a specific point outside of a line. And these are almost the exact same thing. So we're going to make a perpendicular line. It's not going to be a bisector because this side will not be the same size as that side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set my compass to a specific distance that I can see on both sides of the line. So I'm going to set it kind of short here. I'm going to make a mark there on the right side of point C. And I'm going to make an identical mark on the left side of point C. So now I've marked two distances that are the exact same distance away from point C. From here, I'm then going to put the sharp end on the 2 points I've created. I'm going to extend the compass. I'm going to make a mark above and a mark below point C. I'm going to do it on both sides. This should look familiar because this is the same way that we do bisectors of lines. Okay, once you have your 2 points, they should line up perfectly with point C. If they don't, then that's a pretty good indicator that you might have done something wrong. You need to double check your compass. And we now have it perpendicular to the line at point C. Now for the point outside the line, we're going to do something very similar. I'm going to set my compass, I'm going to put the sharp end at point Z, and I'm going to extend it past the length of the line so I can make 2 arcs. Once I've made those 2 arcs, I now have 2 distances that are the exact same distance away from Z. And then I'm going to put the sharp end on those 2 points I just created. I'm going to put an arc below Z on one side, and then I'm going to put an arc below Z on the other side. This last point that I've created should line up with point Z to create a perpendicular to the line. And then I'm done. Alright, last 3 constructions, we'll try to go through these fairly quickly. First one is to create a triangle when you're given 3 lengths. First thing you need to do is reconstruct the first length of the triangle. So I'm going to take point C, or line C, and I'm going to reconstruct it. I'm not going to measure it with the ruler, I'm going to measure it with a compass. So that way I can get an exact reconstruction. So I'm going to set my compass for the exact same length as line C. Once it's at that length, I'm going to mark it off on this line that I just drew. Now I know the exact length of line C. This is line C. And it goes from here to here. Next, I'm going to pick either one of the shorter lines. And you absolutely have to start with the longest line first. It makes it so much easier for you. So I'm going to pick either one of the shorter lines. So we'll go with A. Alright, and then I'm going to mark that on one side of the triangle, one side of line C. So I'm just going to mark that one off. Then I'm going to measure the distance of line B using the same method. I'm going to mark that from the other side of line C. Now, that intersection that I just created is going to be the lengths of my triangle. So, since this side was the distance of A, this is going to be line A. And this side is the distance of B. This will be line B. And I've just constructed the triangle. Next, we have to learn how to make a perpendicular, not perpendicular, a parallel line. So we need to make a parallel to AB that passes through point P. First thing to do, we're going to construct a transversal through this imaginary parallel line. So we'll just draw any angled line that passes through this line in point P. From there, we're simply going to do angle reconstruction. We're going to reconstruct this angle right here. We're going to reconstruct this angle right here at point P. So, let's start by putting the sharp end on the vertex. Okay, so once I've reconstructed this same distance up here at point P, and then I'm going to go ahead and measure this distance between the 2 points. So once I have that distance measured, I go up here to this line, I mark it off. I then have a line, or I then have 2 points from which I can draw my line. And I now have a parallel to to the original line that I started with. The very, very last construction is to divide a line into any number of equal parts. We're going to take this line, we're going to split it into 3 equal parts. So what we do is we just draw an angle off of that line from either side. So I'm just going to draw an angled line that is longer than that line off to any side. Then I'm going to set my compass to any length. Doesn't really matter. It could be as big or as small as I want. If you go too small or too big, that could become difficult. So we want a pretty good medium length, but in the end it's up to us. I'm going to mark this length off 3 times because I'm making 3 sections, right? That's 1, that's 2, and here's 3, okay? Now, once I've marked off my 3rd section, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to connect the end of the 3rd section with the end of the line, essentially making a triangle. Now, once I've done this, all I have to do is construct parallel lines at these 2 points, and I just do that by angle reconstruction. So I'm going to reconstruct this angle 2 times. So I mark it for the first reconstruction right here. And then I mark it for the second reconstruction right here. From there, I'm going to go ahead and measure the distance between these 2 points. And then I will mark that off on both of the reconstructions. From there, all I have to do is connect the lines, or the 2 points. And then I've cut this into 3 equal parts.